We think we know Leonardo da Vinci, but what if the real secret to his genius, the thing that made him Leonardo, has been hiding in plain sight this whole time? Let's dig in and take a closer look.
Painter, scientist, inventor, genius. Yeah, we all know the labels, right? And they're impressive for sure. But honestly, they barely scratch the surface of the man who pretty much was the Renaissance.
So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to try to peel back all those layers of myth and legend and really get to the bottom of it. What was the real method behind the master? All right, so first, let's set the stage. We're talking about Vinci, Italy, 1452. This is the absolute height of the Italian Renaissance. Leonardo was born into a world that was just exploding with new ideas, art, and a whole new way of thinking about what humans could achieve. And Leonardo was the perfect embodiment of this new Renaissance man. Seriously, this guy wasn't just a painter who dabbled in science on the side. No way! His curiosity was absolutely insatiable. It pushed him to explore, well, everything. The way water flows, how birds fly, the inner workings of the human body, the mechanics of a machine. You name it, he was probably sketching it and trying to figure it out, constantly pushing back against what everyone else just accepted as fact. Okay, so let's dive into one of his big ideas, because this is key. For Leonardo, art wasn't just about making something beautiful. To him, it was a science. It was a rigorous, deeply observational, scientific practice. He came up with these incredible, game-changing techniques. Take sfumato, for example. The word literally means smoky. And that's what it is, this amazing technique for blending colors and tones so there are no hard outlines. It's what gives his paintings, especially the Mona Lisa, that mind-blowing realism and that famously mysterious vibe. And then, you've got his mastery of chiaroscuro. This is all about the dramatic play between light and dark. He used it to basically sculpt figures right on the canvas, creating this incredible, almost tangible sense of depth. And you can really see the difference it makes right here. Without it, you get something that looks, well, flat. It's a nice drawing, but it's 2D. But now look what happens when you add chiaroscuro. All of a sudden, there's depth, there's volume, there's drama. It just pops. He's turning a flat surface into something that feels real, like a living, breathing scene. And of course, we see these scientific ideas put to work in his masterpieces. Think about the Last Supper. Every single apostle's reaction, that's not just art. That's a deep dive into human psychology captured in a single moment. And the Mona Lisa smile, that's sfumato at its absolute finest, creating that perfect, enigmatic expression that we're still talking about centuries later. But here's the thing, and this is where it gets really cool. It wasn't just a one-way street. It wasn't just art as a science. For Leonardo, his science was also an art. He looked at the natural world with that same passionate, detail-obsessed eye of an artist. He had this idea that, to really paint the human body, he had to understand it from the inside out. And that simple but really profound thought pushed him to do something that was, for his time, pretty radical. He didn't just want to paint what the body looked like on the surface. He needed to know how it worked. So what did he do? He actually started dissecting human cadavers, which was a huge, controversial no-no back then. And the drawings he created, wow, they were so detailed, so accurate that they were basically the gold standard in anatomy for hundreds of years. He was the first person to accurately draw the human spine. So you see, these weren't just artistic sketches. They were full-blown scientific investigations into the mechanics of life itself. And nothing shows this better than his iconic Vitruvian Man. Look at it. This isn't just a drawing of a guy in a circle. It's a diagram. It's a math problem. It's a philosophical statement. It's all of those things at once. It's his attempt to find those perfect, universal rules that connect us, humanity, to the grand design of the universe. It is the perfect, beautiful marriage of art and science. So that's the work. But what about the man himself? Who was the person behind all this genius? What was his life actually like? Well, his life was definitely a journey. He was born out of wedlock back in 1452, which wasn't an easy start. He began as just an apprentice in a busy workshop in Florence. But his talent was undeniable. He eventually rose to work for some of the most powerful people in Italy. We're talking dukes and popes, and he spent his final years as a guest of the King of France. So quite a climb. And it wasn't always smooth sailing. He had to navigate the incredibly competitive, sometimes cutthroat world of Renaissance Florence. He even had a famous, long-running rivalry with Michelangelo. And on a personal level, he was intensely private, keeping his personal life and his close relationships with his male students and companions very, very guarded. Okay, so all of this brings us back to that big question we started with. What was the secret?
And the answer, it turns out, isn't just one thing. It's not a single talent. It's an entire way of thinking. It's a process. You could almost call it the Leonardo method, and it has a few key steps. First, and maybe most important, observe deeply. He looked at the world with this incredible childlike curiosity that he never lost. Second, question everything. Don't just accept what you're told. Challenge it. Third, document visually. For him, a drawing wasn't just a picture. It was a tool for thinking, a way to understand the world. And last, the real secret sauce, connect disciplines. He was always looking for the patterns, the threads that tied everything together, art, science, nature, you name it.
And that's really the heart of it. His genius wasn't just that he was a great artist or that he was a brilliant scientist. It was his absolutely unique ability to see that they weren't separate things at all. They were just two different languages trying to describe the same incredible, complex, beautiful universe.
And that's why he's still so relevant. This way of thinking, this connecting of different fields, has left a legacy that's still inspiring artists, scientists, and innovators more than 500 years later. It's just staggering.
So, that leaves us with one last big thought. In our modern world, where we're all pushed to specialize, right? To pick a lane and become an expert in one tiny thing, what can we learn from the ultimate generalist, the ultimate polymath? I think Leonardo's life is a challenge to all of us. A challenge to look up, see the bigger picture, to stay curious about everything, and to try and find those amazing connections that no one else has even thought to look for.